And former U.S. Marine Robert Gilman is back in the United States after spending more than 4 years in a Russian prison, and his release coming just in time as concerns were growing over Gilman's health. Gilman's family crediting the Trump administration with bringing him home.
The resulting actions here are really, the credit is due to the White House and this administration for securing a humanitarian release of Mr. Gilman with no other terms. And it shows that the sense of urgency that was placed on Mr. Gilman's health situation was clear enough that the government agreed, and we are just so thankful to see him on his way home right now.
President Trump says Gilman's release came after direct talks with Vladimir Putin. Quote, Robert was imprisoned in Russia in 2022 during the Biden administration. After my discussions with President Vladimir Putin, Russia has agreed to release him very much on a humanitarian basis. We appreciate this decision and the fact that Russia asked for no one in return. No exchange took place. Joining me now is retired Navy Captain and former Pentagon official Brent Sadler. Brent, thanks for coming on and discussing this with me this morning. So this former U.S. Marine, he was released with no condition of exchange, Trump said. And what struck me was it was purely humanitarian based. Does that strike you as odd coming from Russia? Do you think there's anything underlying with that? Because to me, I would think Russia would want something in exchange. So what does that show to you?
No, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't without at least something implied to be in return. And I think in this case, in the final release of Gilman, and it's great to have him back in the United States, there are 8 other Americans at least that are unlawfully detained, the State Department's declared, and also other Americans overseas like Alpha Hamdi in Tunisia. So there's a lot of work to be done. But in all of these exchanges, but focusing just on Putin, he clearly has a couple of agendas always in doing this. When he released Brittany Griner in exchange for perhaps one of the most notorious arms dealers on the black market back in December of 2022, there was a quid pro quo. But Putin also did that to stoke up a lot of animosity, social animosities in the United States over releasing Brittany Griner, a WNBA player, over other prisoners that have been in jail far longer and also with, I guess, worse health conditions to try to stoke political discord here. I don't think that's at play here, but clearly right now the war in Ukraine is not going very well for Russia. This could be perhaps trying to set a more favorable context in negotiations to come between the United States, Russia, and Ukraine. Yeah, that was my follow-up here. I mean, could this have anything to do with the Ukraine war, especially with Trump wanting to get much more involved? He's been very vocal about that. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's another thing to point out the success of the First Lady also directly engaging the Kremlin and Putin about releasing Ukrainian children that have been seized in occupied territory since the beginning of the war. And she's been able to get some of these children released. So there's been a lot of much good work going on quietly in the background on the war in Ukraine and trying to get people back to their homes. And most certainly top of the list is getting those Americans back. And as I said, there are at least 8, but there's more than that in Russian jails, but at least 8 that are being detained for reasons that the State Department do not recognize as lawful. Yeah, hopefully the president can get them released as well. I want to get to this. As North Korea is reportedly set to aid Russia's war efforts with additional troops, Pyongyang is also flexing its military muscle closer to home, launching yet another ballistic missile this week. So U.S. military officials say they're closely monitoring the latest launch, but don't think it poses an immediate threat, saying, quote, we are aware of the recent missile launch and are consulting closely with our allies and partners based on current assessments. These events do not pose an immediate threat to U.S. personnel or territory or our allies. What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe that? Well, it's interesting that North Korea has taken a very different approach, one that's not as I guess, explicitly or overtly intended to try to antagonize the political or geopolitical situations, but they are advancing their military at a very fast pace, and their support of the Russian war effort directly, 30 to 50,000 laborers in Russian factories to backfill folks that are fighting in the front, as well as sending 30,000+ troops that's anticipated this year directly into the fight there. So North Korea is not just a passive supporter. They're an active ally in the war in Ukraine. And that combat experience and some of the technical exchange is rapidly advancing things like their ballistic missile program, their nuclear submarine program, which is still, very nascent, but the ability to launch ballistic missiles with a nuclear warhead on the end of it, it's really complicating the military picture for the United States military, because it's not just one or two threats, big threats, but basically now a group, which now includes North Korea, Iran right now actively, but it's causing a lot of consternation in Northeast Asia, something additionally that we have to watch.
Yeah, I mean, when all of our adversaries are basically ganging up on the U.S., I mean, they always have, but now they're not really trying to hide any of it. Brent Sadler, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.